Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just being officially updating you on some more latest news. So just going to give you some news regarding Paul Pogba and these lots of other things to currently talk about. So reportedly we do expect Paul Pogba out for another 3 weeks, obviously due to his current ankle injury. Solskjaer did initially say anywhere that he does not expect Paul Pogba back until December. That probably, I presume, will be late December. So it has been assured that Paul Pogba, will miss the games against Man City and Tottenham. But obviously, he has missed the vast majority of our games this season anyway, due to his ankle injury. Paul Pogba's last league game he did play was the 1-1 draw with Arsenal earlier on in the season. But as I did give you the news the other week, that I did indicate out that he was closer to recovering from injury, because Paul Pogba travelled to Amsterdam the other week to have his ankle cast removed. Don't forget. But, he has been big miss in that midfield. And, Paul Pogba now is into his 4th season as a Manchester United player since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. And obviously analysing the vast majority of his tenure at Man United, since he rejoined, his performances have been totally a comparison, to what we saw at Juventus and that. Because, Paul Pogba did endure 4 good years in Turin, and recent reports did say that Paul Pogba is still desperate to quit Manchester United. So he has got the same perception, than what he had for the entirety of the summer, because he did actually reveal at the beginning of the summer, that he did want to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge, and he publicly admitted that he wanted to leave the football club. But actually during the summer, his actual preference was to make a move to Real Madrid. Obviously now there's been a change of scenery, because I think now Paul Pogba's preference is to make a return back to Turin and all that. But Paul Pogba, has still got 2 years left on his current contract at Man United, with an option to extend it by a further year. And he's actually one of the highest paid players at the club, because he's on around 290 grand a week. But to be fair, with Paul Pogba's absence, I think, Mctominway and Fred have really hit the ground running. Especially, I've been very impressed with Fred recently, because I think he stepped up to the plate. And Solskjaer did actually, confirm not too long ago that Fred, will take Paul Pogba's position for a while. Obviously, Fred and Mctominway are obviously comparison. They are 2 different players. Obviously, Fred and Mctominway are totally comparison to Paul Pogba. We mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba anywhere in that 3-month period. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager and that. But I've got the same perceptions on Fred and Mctominway anywhere, because I don't know if Fred's a long-term solution for Man United. I don't know if Mctominway is a long-term solution for Man United. And I will agree on the aspect, that we did overpay for Fred during the summer. Last summer, should I say, because we paid, was it £50 million for him, or just under £50 million for him, and he hasn't, performed to the standards as we should expect from him. But I think, Fred does deserve more time at the club, because analysing his performances at Shakhtar Donetsk, I thought, he was an exceptional player, but hasn't really replicated this at Manchester United. But Fred does believe, from his own perception anywhere, that the backing of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is behind him, is in improved form. I obviously give you the news regarding Scott McTominay anyway, didn't I? And we know that he's not going to be playing against Sheffield United. It's also been assured that he will also miss the games against City and Tottenham next month, because he's also got an ankle injury as Scott McTominay. Don't forget, during the international break, McTominway had withdrawn from the Scotland squad due to the recurrence of his ankle injury that he did sustain in the 3-1 win against Brighton before the international break. But initially sustained the injury in the 3-0 win against Partizan Belgrade. So he's had initial scans on his ankle, so obviously to find the extent of the injury. And his injury now is quite severe. So you can say that McTominway is going to be big miss in that midfield, because, you know, Mctominway, like I've recently put into the equation, he has been a revelation this season. He has been a consistent starter, but he has deserved to keep his place in the team, you know, reflecting on his impressive performances. But yeah, so we know that they're not going to be playing on Sunday. He's not going to be playing on Sunday against Sheffield United. As you did see my video that I did this morning, by the way, I give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. Obviously I interpreted, you know, some of the stuff that he had mentioned, and, you know, during the press conference, obviously, you know, Solskjaer had praised Jose Mourinho. He obviously, you know, reacted to him being appointed as Tottenham's new manager, and he's actually said it's good news for the Premier League, because I think Solskjaer is aware of how much of a good manager, you know, that Jose Mourinho is. He also reacted, you know, to the initial sacking of Mauricio Pochettino, and obviously, you know, he said it's obviously not good, you know, for any, you know, manager, you know, to lose their job. But he still believes, does Solskjaer, that, you know, he feels that, you know, he's not under any extra pressure at Man United, you know, despite, you know, the sacking of Mctominway, Pochettino and that. Obviously, you know, Pochettino is linked with the managerial role at Man United. He's also been linked with Bayern Munich, because I think, you know, that managerial role is vacant at Bayern Munich. Obviously, he's linked with the job at Arsenal. You know, he could actually, you know, go to Arsenal. But Solskjaer did also confirm in the press conference, you know, regarding some team news, that obviously, you know, more players are obviously, you know, players are recovering from injury. He did confirm during the press conference that the Nemanja Matic, Alex Tuanzebe and Luke Shaw have all returned to training. So I think overall we've got around 6 players back, because also Eric Bay, Diego Dalot and Fosu Mensah have all returned to training, but they currently trained away from the rest of the squad and that. They're obviously not match fit yet. I would presume they're not match fit yet, but, you know, they are back in training. You know, Matic has been out with a minor problem. Obviously now, due to the absence of Mctominway, you know, he's going to be taking Mctominway's role in that midfield. Is Matic. Luke Shaw's been out with a hamstring injury. You know, he hasn't played since the 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace. And, you know, Luke Shaw, you know, has been a big miss, you could say. You know, Luke Shaw now is into his 5th season, I think, as a Man United player. I know a lot of people do talk about Luke Shaw being injury prone, and, you know, he has sustained quite a lot of injuries as a Man United player and that. But I think prior to that, and prior to the bad spell he had under Mourinho, I think he's done well. Don't forget, Luke Shaw won the double player of the season last season. But, you know, Luke Shaw is our first choice left back, but we have got a variety of fullbacks in our team anyway, you know, like I mentioned. And with Alex Tuanzebe, you know, he's been out with a hip injury. He hasn't played since the 1-0 defeat to Newcastle as Alex Tuanzebe. Don't forget, he was initially named in the squad in the game against Liverpool, but obviously, you know, couldn't, you know, play because obviously he sustained you know, hip injury now during the current warm-up. But yeah, and I said, you know, reflecting on the amount of injuries, you know, we've had this season anyway, you know, Solskjaer has had to make alterations in the squad. Don't forget, recently Marcus Rojo has sustained muscle injury. I'm not too sure, you know, the extent of his injury, so I don't know how severe that current injury, you know, is. But, you know, if we can you know, put another good performance out, you know, like we did against Brighton before the international break, and like we did against Partizan Belgrade in the Europa League, you know, I think, you know, we can beat Sheffield United. But like I mentioned, and I put into the equation that Sheffield United have been revelation this season. You know, they are currently sitting 5th in the Premier League. You know, they are just sitting 1 point above us, you know, believe it or not. They are sitting just 1 point above us, Sheffield United. But it's going to be a very, very tough game, you know. Like I said, this is the first time we are travelling to Bramall Lane for 13 years. But, you know, like I said, You know, we have rejuvenated ourselves recently. You know, we've won 5 of our last 6 games in all competitions, which is obviously, you know, very, very good. So we have, you know, built some momentum up recently. You know, and I have seen a variety of changes quite recently. You know, the performances have been good. We've seemed to be scoring more goals, so we have been more clinical in front of goal. You know, we've been creating chances as well. And I did say, you know, that's been an element of concern this season. We have been struggling to create chances in the vast majority of our games, and this is the explanation, you know, why we haven't been scoring enough goals and that. I think also, you know, where certain players have stepped up to the plate, you know, which is very, very good. But, you know, Sheffield United is going to be a very, very difficult game. You know, they've obviously got a good manager in Chris Wilder. You know, he's now into his 4th season there with Sheffield United. You know, he's obviously, you know, emulated them up. You know, he's progressed them from League One to 5th in the Premier League. And taking into account, you know, Sheffield United beat Arsenal earlier on this season. You know, there was actually, you know, also unlucky, you know, to lose to Liverpool. So they have done really, really well, you know, to be fair. And obviously, you know, Chris Wilder, you know, has managed various clubs. Like I said before, I was at Sheffield United. I think he managed Oxford. Don't forget, he enjoyed quite a lot of years, you know, with Northampton. He also managed Halifax, and he actually began his managerial career with Alfred Town when he was younger. But this is going to be an interesting game. I think the last time we actually played Sheffield United was back in the FA Cup when we won 1-0. I think this was back in 2016. I think it was a Ray Rooney penalty in the 90th minute. But it is on Sundays again. Like I said, it's a 4:30 kickoff. It is actually now the only game on Sunday, and it's obviously, you know, the 13th game. Our 13th game in obviously, you know, the Premier League. At the moment, you know, we are 12 games into the Premier League season. We're currently sitting 7th in the Premier League at the moment, so hopefully, you know, we can get a result against Sheffield United. So obviously as well, you know, we can keep our hopes up for that top 4. I've actually initially, you know, disregarded that top 4 because I do believe, you know, we are too far behind. You know, we are around 9. We are 9 points behind top 4. You know, we've registered 16 points from a possible 36. You know, we know that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. But I did initially say, didn't I, at the start of this season anyway, that our expectations this season will be to finish in that top 4. So obviously, you know, we can get Champions League football. And it was a shame that we're not in Champions League football this season, because when you're in Champions League football, you know, you do attract players to the elite level. I do believe, from my own perception, I think our only route to Champions League football this season is progressing in the Europa League. And obviously, you know, we are in the knockout stages now of the Europa League. With still 2 games to go. But I do initially believe anyway our aspirations will be that top 4, I think, for the next couple of seasons at least. Because we're not good enough to win the league at the moment, you know, and if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club, if we are, you know, to be future title contenders, then obviously, you know, we've got to get the right caliber players in the next couple of windows, because it is going to take at least another couple of windows anyway, you know, to get the number of players that we want in, and also to address the deficiencies in the squad. Don't forget, it recently said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is only going to be given around £200 million. He's only going to be given a £200 million spending spree, so for January and next summer. But these question marks regarding that, you know, is that enough, you know, to address the deficiencies in the squad? I think it's basically, you know, dependent on, you know, it is actually, you know, dependent on, you know, how we are with our recruitment. You know, are we going to overpay for players, or are we going to orchestrate on being sensible with our recruitment? I'm very sceptical about, you know, being sensible with our recruitment, because I think, you know, we're orchestrating on spending a substantial amount next year. But you know, I'm still very, very sceptical about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer anyway. You know, that's my overarching view on it. You know, even though we've done really, really well recently, you know, I still believe he isn't the right manager to elevate Manchester United forward. Obviously, you know, Solskjaer's comparison to me and a lot of Manchester United fans, because he still believes he's the right man. obviously Ed Woodward has got the same perception as Solskjaer, so he does replicate him in that aspect, because Ed Woodward has recently assured that his job is safe at the football club. I can assure definitely that Solskjaer will be anywhere, giving him at least a couple more windows, to see who else he can recommend in to the football club, because, you can still quite frankly say that Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding anywhere. He's only had one transfer window at the moment, and that was obviously, during the summer. I credit him in the aspect, that he did recommend 3 good players into the squad. We spent obviously, nearly £150 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire. So you can say we did spend a substantial amount during the summer, but I think for 200 million anywhere, we could probably get around 3, maybe even 4 players, But I credit him for the 3 players that he did bring in during the course of the summer and that. But obviously we know that's not currently enough. But there are the only 3 players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. The vast majority of these players are actually, Jose Mourinho's, because Jose Mourinho, don't forget, did recommend 11 players into the football club during his 2.5-year tenure at Man United. And he spent a substantial amount. I think he spent, was it 400 million or just under 400 million pounds? And now obviously, Solskjaer is inheriting the vast majority of Mourinho's players. Van Gaal also, recommended a lot of players in. Obviously, the vast majority of them have now left, but obviously, there's still some of them here now that Solskjaer's inheriting. There's still Moyes, there's still Mattery, from the David Moyes era. There's still players here from the Alex Ferguson era and that. So he is still in the process of rebuilding, but I think we need at least 5 to 6 more signings, maybe even more, if we are to be back, to where we want to be. But I did say at the start of this season that I do expect us, to enjoy a better season this season than what we saw last season. And I know we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for over 30 years in that. But despite that, the club are still willing to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I still believe that, Solskjaer is under, he's still under some pressure at Man United. I don't think he's under the pressure to the extent as he was before the Liverpool game, because before the Liverpool game, Solskjaer, was under, serious intense pressure. So you could arguably say, like, the game against Liverpool, the game against Norwich and that early on in the season, you can say they arguably saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club. But I can assure Solskjaer will still definitely be here at the end of this season. Obviously, he's got a 3-year contract at Man United anyway, because he had been given this 3-year contract when he had been given the job in March earlier on this year. I'm very, very sceptical about him seeing. I'm very sceptical about him seeing out his 3-year contract at the football club. And I said, didn't I, on my recent videos, my perception will only change on Solskjaer if we can keep this good run of form until January at least, or until the end of the season. But prior to that, my perceptions, will not really change. And obviously, if we did decide to sack him anyway, obviously we'd have to pay something in compensation. We probably wouldn't have to pay as much as we did do to get rid of Jose Mourinho and that. But, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. And I did initially say anywhere we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers, despite the fact that we've sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, we sacked David Moyes after 10 months. He enjoyed a really short tenure with the football club, and the mistake Ferguson made, and the only mistake Ferguson made, was recommending David Moyes in. Then obviously, then we recommended Van Gaal in after David Moyes' era. Van Gaal lasted just over a year, was it? He won the FA Cup, but obviously his philosophy wasn't right for the club. And then obviously, after him, we got Jose Mourinho in. Like I said, Jose Mourinho enjoyed a 2.5-year tenure in that. He did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. But I already give you the variety of reasons why it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era and that. But to be fair, I haven't really seen much improvements under Solskjaer. Prior to recently and prior to the 3-month period when he was the interim manager and that. to be quite monetary. But, analysing it, Solskjaer has only been at Man United now around 11 months. He's been here just under a year. He obviously has been permanent manager for around 8 months and that. But yeah, maybe he does deserve a bit more time at the football club. But yeah, like I said, Solskjaer's tried a few different elements, to try and turn his managerial tenure around at the football club. Obviously, a few times he's tried different formations. Obviously, on a regular basis this season, he has mainly gone with that 4-2-3-1 formation. A couple of times, he went with the 3-5-2 and the 3-4-1-2 and that. So, like I said, he has tried a few different elements in that. But we have showed a lot of tactical flexibility recently, which is obviously now really, really good. Which is really, really good. Which is obviously now really, really good and that. And like I said, even though we've done good recently, we still need to see a variety of changes at the football club. I think, we need to get rid of our current board because our board have been a liability for several years, due to their poor recruitment and their poor selection of managers. And I think that's something else that's got to improve. Our recruitment has definitely now got to improve. I also do believe that Ed Woodward replicates the board. He's also a liability. He's Ed Woodward. Quite frankly, he's not reliable to oversee our transfer business. I do believe, due to our inconsistency for the vast majority of this season, Solskjaer has definitely now been accountable for some of that. But obviously, not all the blame obviously now stems from him. I still believe these players at the football club now that are not good enough to represent Man United. So what I mean in that aspect is that I do believe more players do need to be moved on next year. I know a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. And obviously the vast majority of our players that did leave during the summer obviously went to Italy. So obviously, Italy was a popular destination for the vast majority of our players during the course over the summer. So I do believe the problematic players at the football club, I think Young, he's definitely one of the problematic players. And these question marks regarding Solskjaer and not, why is he been playing Ashley Young on a regular basis this season? Maybe it's something to do with the injury, so he's had no other alternative and that. Young's past his sell-by date. He is now 34. He is 35 next year. He's Ashley Young. He has been a long-serving player at the football club. He's now into his 9th season at Manchester United. But he's enjoyed 8 years here. But yeah, and it was a bad mistake last season for Man United. Giving him that new new 1-year extension. Sorry. But yeah, I think Phil Jones is another one of the problematic players, and like I said anyway, his appearances now are limited at Man United. Phil Jones is in the Premier League, especially because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre backs are Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. But Jones, again, we've seen glimpses of how good he can be at Man United and that, he's been here more or less the same amount of time as Young. Jones is now into his 9th season at Manchester United and he's enjoyed 8 years here. But again, it was a bad mistake for Man United last season, giving him that new long-term contract. We can cash in for him next year. We obviously won't generate a substantial amount for his departure, mainly due to his inconsistency and obviously reflecting on his age because he is aging up. I think definitely, Nemanja Matic, he's one of the problematic players. I was reading recent reports about him, and Solskjaer actually, responded to, the speculation about him possibly, joining Tottenham and, obviously, reuniting again with Jose Mourinho because Jose Mourinho recommended Nemanja Matic into Man United back in 2017, and now Matic is into his 3rd season at the football club, as you all know and that. But yeah, I think Solskjaer had laughed this, these suggestions off about, him going to Tottenham, and Nemanja Matic. But I think either way, we need to get rid of him anyway. I was reading the Daily Mail early on, and it did actually say that Atletico Madrid have joined the race to get Matic. So he actually, could leave the club in January. I think that would be beneficial for us because obviously, we can, generate some funds for his departure. But obviously, if he left at the end of the season, we wouldn't get anything because his current contract does come to an end. His current contract does come to an end at the end of the season. We do have an option to extend it by a further year, but I'm very sceptical about Man United, extending his contract by a further year. He is now 31 years of age, is Matic, so obviously he's aging up and he isn't getting any younger. But I've got a lot of reservations about him. His first touch concerns me. He's too slow. He makes that midfield look totally imbalanced, and despite the fact we haven't addressed that midfield, he doesn't complement any of our midfielders. He doesn't complement Fred, in my opinion. He doesn't complement Mctominway. Definitely kind of sure he doesn't complement Paul Pogba. So I just think we need to get rid of him. And I will agree we overpaid for him because we paid 35 million up front for him from Chelsea. There was 5 million in add-ons, which did potentially rise it to 40 million pounds. So we've got to get rid of him. Some people believe that we need to get rid of Jesse Lingard. I still say Jesse Lingard is a long-term solution for Man United, even though he has enjoyed a really difficult time this season. And I did recently say, well, I've said on numerous occasions that reflecting on Jesse Lingard's status at the club, reflecting on the number of years he's been here, he should be performing to the standards as we should expect him. I think he's now, 27, 28 years of age now, he's Jesse Lingard. I read reports, as you all know, about Chong the other week, and it said he's expected to leave Man United at the end of the season when his current contract does come to an end, because reportedly Chong has decided, not to renew his contract at Man United, and reportedly, allegedly informed the club that he will be leaving at the end of the season. Obviously, Chong's appearances anywhere have been limited, as you all know. His appearances have been limited. I think he's only played on like 4 occasions. He's only played a couple of times this season, as Chong. And I've obviously, anywhere got element of concerns about him. So I think it would be beneficial if the club did get rid of him. He did say the other week that Juventus are the team that are interested in getting him on a free transfer. So yeah, I think we need to get rid of another 4 or 5 more players at least. Marcus Rojo, obviously he's injured, like I said earlier on in the video. Don't forget, he was subjected to intense transfer speculation during the course of the summer. There was quite a few foreign teams in for him. Don't forget, Everton had inquired about getting him. But Everton, inquired about getting him. But we obviously, as you all know, put around a £25 million valuation on Rojo. I think Everton were reluctant to pay it. Overall, they just couldn't come to an agreement on a fee. And I think Solskjaer's anywhere preventing Rojo from leaving the club in January or at all next year. He's preventing him from leaving, and he has revealed the reason why. Rojo's also appearances limited at the club. Obviously, Rojo's predominantly actual centre half, but you can also play him as a full back and a wing back, and that's so his versatility now is very, very good. And Rojo has got just under 2 years left on his contract with Man United. But some Man United fans still believe, we probably need to get rid of him. Some more players do need to leave in that. I think we also, need to get a new director of footballing. And I did initially say, didn't I? That's one of the structural changes that we do need to see at the football club. It was a shame, that we didn't get a director of footballing during the course of the summer and that, because, there was quite a few former Manchester United players linked with that director's role. There was, Rio Ferdinand, Darren Fletcher, Patrice Evra that were linked with them roles and that. Obviously, at one point, Edwin van der Sar was linked with a role. There was speculation about him, was it a month or so ago? There was a lot of speculation about him coming back to the club during the summer. But obviously now he's out of the equation of becoming our technical director, because he recently, not too long ago, signed a contract extension with Ajax and that. But I think if we are to get a director of football, we need someone who knows the traditions of the club, someone who would be reliable to oversee our transfer business, and someone who would have the right philosophy for the football club, to recruit the right players. But I'm very, very sceptical about, getting a new director of football, especially at this present time. Definitely, I think Solskjaer insists that we don't need one. Well, he did say that. At one point, he actually did defend the club's current structure, and that, as you all know. And that, but my element of concern I have actually got about Solskjaer is that obviously he hasn't really got that managerial experience to the highest level. That doesn't mean he can't succeed as a manager, for Man United and that. Because obviously, before he was at Man United, he was with Mould. He won a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould, but obviously, Mould of, not obviously all big other. Obviously, before he was at Mould, he had a really short tenure with Cardiff. He only managed around 20 or 29 games for them. He ended up getting sacked from Cardiff because obviously, he ended up getting them relegated, and that, and but he still doesn't mean he won't succeed at Man United. But obviously, as a manager, his comparisons as he was as a player, because he's got that proven pedigree as a player. He was a fantastic player for Man United. He served 11 years in the club. He totally made 366 appearances as a player and scored 126 goals, did Solskjaer. And obviously, Alex Ferguson did transform him into a winner and that. And Solskjaer, did reveal during the summer that he obviously, was following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. And I'm hopeful, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, can invoke Ferguson's legacy, to save his tenure at Man United and that. But I'm obviously, very, very sceptical about it. But I think, regardless of who our manager is anywhere, we'll never be the team that we was under Alex Ferguson. So we'll also, put that into the equation. But another aspect to me, that does credit Solskjaer, he has got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players, because we have got a lot of young players in the squad. I think some of them are definitely flourishing. I've also got some element of concerns about some of them. Like I said with Chong, he's my element of concern. I've got also element of concerns about Angel Gomez. I haven't really seen Angel Gomez play this season. Obviously he is another one of our midfield options, but I can assure that Mason Greenwood, Brandon Williams, Alex Tuanzebe, and perhaps maybe James Garner will all become successions at Manchester United. My overarching view on Mason Greenwood is that he's obviously still a prospect and obviously still developing. He's got a hell of a lot of development in him anywhere, he's only 18 years of age. I do believe as time goes on, as he develops more, I think Mason Greenwood will overcome Marcus Rashford. And I think he'll eventually, become a better goal scorer than Marcus Rashford and that. Obviously, there's question marks regarding Solskjaer and that, why is Mason Greenwood not played more regularly this season? I don't think he's yet started a game from the start in the Premier League, but he has made a lot of substitute appearances as Greenwood. But yeah, he's done really, really well this season, and I think he's replicating what he did, for the reserves last season. He doesn't only operate in the number 9. He's also an option on that right hand side is Greenwood anywhere. Like I said with Brandon Williams, done very, very well as Brandon Williams. He really, really has, in the games he's played. And I did say, reflect on his impressive performances, he would earn more first team promotions anyway, and this is exactly what's happened. Brandon Williams is only 19. Don't forget, he recently got a new contract. But he's done well, and he did well in his full Premier League debut in the 3-1 win against Brighton before the international break. Did Brandon Williams? He does show good attacking intent. His defensive contribution's good, but yeah, very, very good player. And I think by the time again he's 23, 24, he will be I think he'll be a Galactico player for Man United. And like I said, he's a better solution than Luke Shaw. He's also a much better solution than Ashley Young. Don't forget, but he's done well. In the games, like I said, Tuanzebe has played in this season. He's also, done really, really well. So we'll also, put that into the equation. he's done really well as well. And but yeah, so we have got a lot of young players in the squad and that. And you know, Pereira, I would give him more time at the football club. You know, Andres Pereira, he's only very young. He's had some good games this season. He's had some bad games. But he's obviously been operating in that playmaker's role this season. As you know, Andres Pereira. He has been operating in that playmaker's role. But we've also, you know, got a lot of experienced players in the squad. Yes, we have. But like I've recently mentioned, guys, you know, reflecting on the size and, you know, the potential of this club and reflect on the amount of money, you know, overall that's been invested into this football club over the years in all the managerial areas. You know, we should be much more commanding a position, you know, than winning now. So I will also, you know, put that into the equation. You know, like I said, there's a lot of players on our agenda, you know, who we could go in for next year. Don't forget, recently, Solskjaer had drawn an 8-man transfer list of long-term targets. Obviously, you know, Ed Woodward has actually, you know, promised their Galactico players Man United, you know, whether this materialises or not, I do not know. But like I said, it always spending big on players and getting them Galactico players doesn't always, you know, guarantee success and that's been proven with us in the last 6 or 7 years, definitely. But yeah, but I think Solskjaer, you know, did say we're considering changing his transfer strategy next year. He didn't actually say before that, though. He prior to that, he wanted to, you know, continue the policy of, you know, recruiting young players. Obviously, in that aspect, he does replicate Ferguson, because don't forget, you know, Ferguson did develop a lot of young players. You know, he controlled a lot of the transfer policies. He controlled a lot of the contracts, don't forget. Yeah, so obviously, you know, I've already given you, you know, the news regarding, you know, the transfers and that. Obviously, you know, Erling Haaland, Jadon Sancho, they are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 2 main priority targets in that. I've been recently keeping you up to date, haven't I, regarding Erling Haaland. Don't forget, not too long ago, his father had visited Manchester United's training ground. Obviously, that fueled more speculation. I think there's a few other clubs that are attracting their interest in, you know, Erling Haaland. Reportedly, if we had to go in for him, you know, he's going to cost us in the excess around £85 million. But it didn't actually say we are orchestrating on, you know, making a double swoop in January for Erling Haaland and Jadon Sancho. And reportedly, you know, they're going to cost us around 200 million. Well, between 185 to 200 million, because Jadon Sancho said it's cost us £100 million, or maybe just a bit more. But I think the beneficial thing about us recommending Erling Haaland in is that, you know, he's played under Solskjaer's guidance during his time with Mould. Obviously, Solskjaer was the man who gave him his debut, and Solskjaer is keen on reuniting with the player. You know, Erling Haaland, you know, has been a revelation this season for Red Bull Salzburg. I think this is actually his first season with Red Bull Salzburg, but he's been a revelation. He's scored 26 goals in 18 games in all competitions. He scored like 7 goals in 4 Champions League games. So he's been a prolific goal scorer this season. Obviously, it's a different area if he obviously, you know, wants to come to the Premier League, because obviously he'd be in English football, he'd be playing a monster, you know, different players. So it would be interesting to see how he would cooperate. But some Man United fans do believe he would be the right calibre player and that, you know, like I said. And, you know, do you think he would be a good you know, a replacement for Romelu Lukaku? But Erling Haaland, he's only the age of 19 and that, so he's still got a hell of a lot of development minimum and that. These, like I said, there's still deficiencies in the squad that need to be addressed anywhere. You know, I said, you know, we need to reinvest in that midfield. I think we definitely now need 2 midfielders. You know, we need to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. You know, we need a attacking midfielder. We also need a defensive midfielder. We need at least 1 striker in that, definitely, because I think we look very exposed in that attacking line following the departures of Lukaku and Sanchez. Obviously, you know, analysed it recently, we've looked better in the attacking third of the pitch because Rashford's recently rejuvenated himself. Anthony Martial, since he came back, you know, he's obviously, added more inspiration in that attacking third in the pitch, and that's good because he helps the likes of Daniel, James, and Rashford. But we still definitely need to get at least one striker in. Some people believe we need two, so that's definitely a priority area that needs to be strengthened up. We also need a right winger. I don't think it's as much as a priority as a striker or a midfielder, but I still think it would be beneficial if we could recommend right winner Ming. There's been a few right winners on our agenda, but obviously Jadon Sancho is one of them. But, analysing it anywhere, we've been long admirers of Jadon Sancho. We've basically been in for him since January of this year. He was actually our number one priority target back in January. We also went in for him during the summer, but obviously, Borussia Dortmund were reluctant to let him go during the summer. But now he's our top priority target for next year. I think it's probably very imminent that if we are to get Jadon Sancho, it will happen next summer, not in January. Well, it could happen in January, But Jadon Sancho said the other week he wanted to leave in the summer and that. But I think Jadon Sancho anyway would be the right calibre player for Man United. He would be the right calibre player for Man United. He's primarily a right winner, but, you can also, play him centrally in that. But I would be excited about the prospect of him playing alongside the likes of Daniel James, Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford. I just think overall he complement our attacking line very, very well. I think also the beneficial thing about us recommending Jadon Sancho is that obviously he's played in Manchester, he's played in the Premier League because he did enjoy a couple of years there with Man City, but obviously never got assured first team opportunities, and this is the main factor reason why I left Man City to join Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund got him from next to note. They only paid around £7 million for him. Or was it £8 million for him and that? He did sign a contract he signed a contract with Dortmund when he signed for them until 2022. So he's still got a couple of years left on his current contract. But obviously, analyse his performances during his time with Dortmund. Obviously, his valuation has persistently grown. But it isn't only us that are in for him. Liverpool have inquired about him. I just don't really see, to be quite honest with you, how he would fit in Liverpool's system. To be honest with you, he wouldn't fit Liverpool's system. I think he'd fit Mara's system better. PSG and also, Real Madrid have obviously now been in for him. I've also been in for him, and Jadon Sancho is only at the age of 19. So there are our two top priority targets. Obviously, don't forget Mario Mandzukic is on our agenda in that. Maybe we might not get Mario Mandzukic, but there has been a lot of narratives, in the mainstream media, going on, for quite a long time now. About Mario Mandzukic coming to Man United, and I did say, from my own perception, I think he'll be our first signing in January. He will be our fourth signing overall under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Don't forget a lot of reports should I say, emerged out the other week saying that if we can reach an informal agreement with Juventus before January, then we could actually get Mario Mandzukic as early. We could get him in December. He could actually start training with the club in December and that. I don't need to estimate the fee because I don't need to have an estimated guess on the fee because I think I know what the fee is. I think he's gonna cost us around 10 million or just a bit more. So looking at he's a cheaper solution is Mario Mandzukic, but the only reservation I've got about us recommending him in is that he's 33 years of age. That's the only problem really. But prior to that, I think he'll do really, really well for the football club if he comes in. I admire Mario Mandzukic because I think he's had a fantastic career. He's been a long-serving player at Juventus. This is now his 5th season with Juventus. He has scored 44 goals in 162 appearances in all competitions for Juventus and won quite a lot of silverware with them. But obviously hasn't played under Maurizio Sarri's guidance this season, and this is why he is service to requirements. But yeah, another player on our agenda, Moussa Dembele. He's one of them players on the 8-man list of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. Don't forget, we inquired about getting Moussa Dembele during the summer. Obviously, we was tentatively linked to him. What I mean is he wasn't one of our main priority targets. If we're going for Moussa Dembele next year, he will cost the club a substantial amount of money. We'd probably have to pay in the excess of around 60 or 70 million pounds for him. I think also the beneficial thing about recommending Dembele is that if he came in, he'd assure his goals. He could obviously create chances. He's a prolific goal scorer basically, and he's only 23. But he obviously, when he was younger, began his senior career with Fulham. He was there several years with Fulham, and he did really, really well. He also then left Fulham, went to Celtic, had a good couple of years with Celtic. Now he's at Lyon, and now he's currently in his second season with Lyon, and I think he's enjoying a difficult time at the moment. Lyon paid £20 million for him from Celtic last summer, but he is under contract with Lyon, by the way, until 2023. But Moussa Dembele, don't forget, he's also an out-and-out number 9. So he's another attacker on our agenda. There's obviously quite a few midfielders on our agenda, as you all know. We'll also put that into the equation. Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes. It's been reiterated again about Bruno Fernandes because he's now again. Now again, there's a lot of speculation going on about him. Coming to Manchester United in January. Don't forget, we went in for Bruno Fernandes in the summer. He was actually our main priority target, during the course of the summer was Bruno Fernandes, but we actually didn't get him because we couldn't come to an agreement on a fee with Sporting Lisbon. There was adamant he was for sale, but they wanted in the region of around, was it 60 or 70 million? We were reluctant to pay it basically, and this is why we didn't get him. But I was reading reports, like I did give you an update on earlier on this week, and it did say that Sporting Lisbon are looking to raise funds allegedly to clear off their debt of around 57 million. So Bruno Fernandes, if we had to go in for him in January, is going to cost us in the excess of around £65 million. Bruno Fernandes is predominantly an attacking midfielder. I would love Bruno Fernandes at the football club anywhere because I think he's the right calibre player. I think he'd be able to elevate Man United forward. I think he'd be able to bring his goals from that midfield. He is 25 years of age, so he's actually now nearly in his prime. But obviously, when he was younger, Bruno Fernandes, he actually spent the entirety of his career over Italy. He was with Novria, Sampdoria, Udinese, but he's been a revelation in the couple of years. He has been in Portugal with Sporting Lisbon, but we was relentlessly linked to him during the summer. Liverpool inquired about him. I think 1 point City were in for him. Tottenham obviously were in for Bruno Fernandes. But yeah, he's one of the midfielders on our agenda in that. Obviously, James Maddison. He's one of the midfielders on our agenda as well. Don't forget. And he's another, player I would like Manchester United, is James Maddison. So look at all them players on our agenda in that, and I think all of them, or the vast majority of them, I'd say, would be the right calibre players for Man United in that. But it's good that anyway, Solskjaer is making plans for January. So yeah, we'll see what happens in that. But like I said, I think around, I think an estimated guess, it's around £800 million that's been spent in Man United in the last 6 or 7 years. We haven't only invested big on players, we've also now got players on big contracts at the club. We've obviously got Rashford on a substantial amount. He's on 300 grand a week at just the age of 22. You've got Martial at the age of 23 on 200 grand a week. You've got Pogba on 290 grand a week. You've got Maguire on 200 odd grand a week. You've got De Gea on 375 grand a week. De Gea is obviously now the highest paid goalkeeper in the world and that. So we have got players on big contracts. I mean, Lingard's on just over 100 grand a week. So we have got players on big contracts at the football club, definitely. And like I said, though, even though we've been a toxic football club for the last 6 or 7 years, we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. We are the most successful team in England, historically, because obviously we've won the most titles. We've won 20 titles, 13 Premier Leagues, 7 all the first divisions. But yeah. But yeah, definitely. And that's mainly everything to update you with. So I just wanted to give you the news regarding Paul Pogba and all the rest of the other news and that. So I will be back on with more live videos tomorrow, guys, as usual. So drop your comments, likes below on the channel, like I said. If you do, consider subscribing as always. And take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.